Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Gavin. I've got some sweet upcoming projects I want to show you guys, but first let's hop into OpenSea. So first of all, if we scroll down, we can see on number 9 we have something called Ragnarok Meta. Now this collection launched I think a day ago is when it minted. It's holding up incredibly well. It has a 2.65 ETH mint price, and as you can see, this is an anime play. If we hop onto their Twitter, we can see that this is an anime meta RPG, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because we're starting to see anime become another really hot trend again. Now obviously with anything, it's not just the trend, it's also the project, but it's good to see that anime-based projects or certain projects are still performing incredibly well. So with that being said, make sure to like, subscribe, turn on those post notifications, and let's hop into today's projects. So going off of the anime narrative or theme, the first project I want to talk about and bring to your guys' attention, if you don't already know about it, because I did run a giveaway on Twitter for these guys a couple weeks ago, is called Kosekai Collective. Now what I specifically like about this project isn't necessarily the roadmap, isn't necessarily their website or anything like that, the Discord. Honestly, I just really like the art. They have a really good and clean looking art style, which I think can build a lot of traction for these guys. I also did hop on a very brief call a couple of weeks ago with the team, and they were basically telling me that they had plans to do something with AR and VR. This is a project that I just wanted to put on your guys' radar because it is still relatively small. It is growing quite quickly, and I do think that the art is quite good. And as far as I'm aware, they aren't really launching anytime soon. Now, the next project I'd like to dive into is called Bad Influence. So this project is relatively new. They just started the Twitter about 2 weeks ago, and I think the best way to break this down is to hop into the pitch deck that the team showed me, kind of break down what they've got going on, who their team is, and what they're doing. So first of all, this is their core team plus 2 other members. They are fully doxxed. Here we've got David, who has worked with companies like TikTok, Spotify, Disney, Virgin, IKEA, and VF. Then we've got Christian Johnson, who has done over 2 billion USD in billings from media and advertising. He was also featured in Forbes magazine's 30 Under 30. And then lastly but not least, we have Brian St. John, who is one of the founders on this publicly traded company called Integral Ad Science. And this is a multi-billion-dollar company. So I'm not going to go all into depth about their full backgrounds, but you can see that this is a pretty well stacked team. Now going into the actual artwork, on the team they have this artist named DYOR. Hopefully I'm not butchering his name, but you can see some of his art styles. We'll go on his website soon, but he's worked on stuff like Adidas, Nike, Superlastic, Hypebeast. He's worked on a ton of really cool stuff, and he's the artist that is going to be doing these guys' profile picture collections. So what the Bad Influence profile picture collections are going to look like are these guys right here. And what this art style kind of reminds me of is a Borderlands slash Cyberbrokers, of course, being the fully on-chain NFT collection. Currently has a 2.6 ETH floor price. So it kind of reminds me of that art style. Personally, I really like it. It all looks very tailored and hand-drawn. And another great thing that's really cool is every single profile picture that you get is going to come with this 3D model version of it that apparently has already been worked on in the back end. So not only are you going to get the portrait type character, you're also going to get a fully integrative 3D design character. Another really cool feature that they told me about and showed me is that they plan on making this phone app that you can use your avatar, so your profile picture. It's going to use facial tracking software, whatever you want to call it, where if you're on like your iPhone or Android, whatever device you use, and you use those emojis that can kind of track your face and move around, you'll be able to use these in the future as your digital identities. And they're saying both of these things, so the 3D model as well as this, will be ready like 3 to 4 or 5 weeks after mint, so really not that far out. So you can kind of have a digital identity, and I could see this potentially taking off post mint if a lot of people actually like their avatars. They can use this as like a non-doxed social identity on something like Twitter or Instagram and basically promote the project and the brand just by the community because they're using these digital identities, and people are like, oh, what is that? And you're like, oh, this is my avatar from Bad Influence. So I thought that that was quite interesting and unique. But that is Bad Influence in a nutshell. Personally, I like the art style. If we go onto DYOR's website, we can see more of his art style. Again, it kind of gives me like that Cyberbrokers slash Borderlands type look, although I'm sure this artist has been working on art way before something like Cyberbrokers. The team seems pretty stacked. Their Twitter is only about 2 weeks old, and they do have about 24,000 followers, so it looks like they're getting some traction. I would definitely follow these guys on Twitter, hop in their Discord. This could be a very much worthwhile project to get whitelisted on because again, they are doing something quite unique. Artist has some really good rep, so this is a project I would definitely keep an eye on. All right, now the last project that I want to mention is called XoXo. This is quite an interesting project, not what we're normally used to seeing in the NFT market. And the reason that this one is so particularly interesting is not necessarily the art style and not necessarily because it's not doing something that's trending. I did talk to the community manager and basically the person who's running all their socials and collaborations and everything, and he was breaking down the project for me and explaining why they have as much hype as they do. So if we go onto Instagram, we can see that on their page they've got 11,000 followers, and then if we go on these posts, you can see they have like hundreds of thousands of likes. So what I didn't know and realize at the time is that this project is by this couple known as Maya and DYOR. I hope that's how you say their names, and they have this comic book brand series called DYOR, which has an absolutely massive following, 5 1.6 million, which is where they're getting all of these interactions from. And it's basically like their life and their family into this comic book, and they're very popular and they have a massive fan base. So basically these guys are making this project called XoXo, and that is where this art comes from, where we see these interesting styles and characters. So basically it's the same premise all around. Maya and Yehuda, who are basically kissing, and then they have all of these different art styles. They've got pixelated, they've got black and white, and basically you can kind of see this collage right here. They've got a bunch of different art styles. So I do know that this collection is going to be about 10K, and why this collection really interests me, I can't really show you because they don't have their website up. And a little birdie told me that they have some serious partnerships in contract that have already been signed with some major brands that are going to offer their holders major utility down the line. I can't say what those brands are, but they are very, very big. So with that being said, at the moment on Twitter, they are relatively small. There is a lot of opportunity to get in this project quite early because they are such a big brand on like Instagram and with their comic that a lot of their audience doesn't yet understand probably the NFT ecosystem. So there's a lot of room for people like us to kind of understand that, leverage it, and get in. Again, like I said, I can't tell you too much information. All I know is that they have some insanely big partnerships lined up that apparently they have already signed. The contracts are done. So I would definitely follow these guys and keep them on your radar. The last project that I just quickly wanted to touch on is called Isekai Meta. I talked about these guys way over a month ago when they had less than 20,000 followers. I hope you guys are paying attention because these guys have absolutely exploded, so that they had a really unique approach to their art style, incorporating into the anime theme, and that they were probably going to do very well. So if you haven't already, or if you're not, I would definitely keep an eye on these guys because I do think that these guys have a chance to do really good. In my opinion, especially in the anime space, this art style is really good. It's really well sought after, and this project is just probably going to do quite well. That is it for me. That is the project for today's video. Hopefully you liked them. I definitely wouldn't sleep on them because these are those projects where they look small now and they may not have potential, but then you check back in a couple of weeks or a month and you're like, wow, definitely missed the wave on that one. Whitelist is not so attainable. So I would definitely take the time to at least check out these projects, see what you think about them. If you like them, if you vibe with their art style and potential utility, then go ahead and try to go for that whitelist if it makes sense. That's it for me, guys. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Also, thank you for 100,000 followers on Twitter. Peace out.